Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Mellow Monday. I know there are a lot of people mellowing out, especially after the last regular season games in the NFL yesterday. I'm mellowing out my Steelers, even though they missed the playoffs. 19 straight years of 500 or above. Just think about that. That's a lot of good football playing. But hey, um, what we have going on for this coming Sunday in our psalm kind of mellows us out quite a bit as well. It's Psalm 40. We're only going to do the first 11 verses, although there's a second part to it that makes it real interesting. And if you want to find out what's so interesting about that, stay tuned for this coming Saturday's Wild, Weird, and Wacky World of the Word, okay? Just a little bit of a hint of what's to come. But let's look at the part that's given to us as our reading for this coming Sunday. I'm not going to read all of it, but I love the way it starts. I waited patiently for the Lord. He inclined to me and heard my cry. Yeah, right. How many of you have waited patiently for God? How many of us have waited? I think we tend to be a little more impatient. But if you look throughout the Psalms, you see that same thing being said. I waited patiently, and it's used as I really did hang in there as long as I could, and you know what? I'm the better for it. It's that type of thing, and it's an active kind of waiting. It's not just, oh, I'm just sitting back and going to let it happen. No, in the meantime, I'm doing what I need to do in order to please God. And you'll see that happening all through these first 10 verses. It really is a hymn of thanksgiving. Look what God did for this person. He drew me up from the desolate pit, out of the miry bog, and set my feet upon a rock, making my steps secure. Uh, Often when they talk about the pit in the Old Testament, talking about that place down there, yeah, not just a hole in the ground, but saved me from death, in other words. And and what happened because of all this? Verse 3, he puts a new song in my mouth, a song of praise to our God. Oh, yeah, you do go singing a happy tune. Um, and maybe that's the whole point of this first part of this psalm being attached to what we're having coming later, which, okay, I'll give a little bit of it away. It's a psalm of lament. It's the fact that even though we do wait patiently for God and things work out well for us, there still are those times that come when things go awry again and we're back at the same old place. We have to put our hope, faith, and trust in a God who will come for us. At least we hope so, right? Happy are those. Oh, wait a minute. That's the Beatitudes, isn't it? Happy are those, blessed are those, yeah, who make God their trust and who do not turn to the proud, to those who go astray after false gods. Yeah, in other words, you know, follow Yahweh, lean on Him. Don't go after all these other people who say, hey, you got to do this, you got to do that. No, it's in Yahweh that we put our trust. Now, this is another interesting thing about that word happy. In the Hebrew, it really doesn't mean happy or blessed, although it's translated a lot that way in our Bibles, but it's more content, a deep down inner feeling that I am okay with what God has done for me. And so it goes far beyond our viewpoint of what being happy is. Um, the Bills are going to the Super Bowl. Yeah, well, yeah, that'll make us all happy. But are we just content to have a team that has finished 19 years in a row playing over 500 football? Yeah, see, there's a little bit of difference there. Okay, enough of the football analogies, right? Let's move on. What's kind of interesting, though, is partway through here in verse 6, the psalm kind of makes a little bit of a twist and it goes in a little bit of a different direction. Sacrifice and offering you do not desire. What? You don't want our sacrifices? You don't want our offerings? In the Older Testament, that would be there in the temple. It also included your offerings in the offering plate then, as it does now. But you don't want that stuff? Burnt offering and sin offering you have not required? That was part of what was written in the law that you do. Ah, that's really not what the psalmist is saying. He says, what he's really trying to say is, that's not enough. It goes further than that. Then I said, here I am in the scroll of the book. It is written of me, I delight to do your will. That's what God wants. All the sacrifices and all in the world and all the offerings put in the offering plate in the world, they're not enough. He wants us to do what he's asked us to do, live as his people, and to love one another as he first loved us. Love your neighbors, you love yourself. Those are the things Daddy wants. And he goes on to say, I delight to do your will, O God. And your law, oh, here we go again. It's written where? Right down in my heart. It's written in my heart so that I will to do it with my whole being. Wow. And so what's the result of all that? Hey, Lord, I've shouted it out to everyone. I've told the glad news of deliverance in the great congregation. I've gone to church. I've shared this good news with everybody. I haven't restrained my lips. As you know, Lord, I've been a blabbermouth about all the good stuff you've done for me. Because that's what you want us to do. You want us to share the good news with others. Okay, well, there's a little more that goes on with this psalm, but this is where it starts making a turn to being a plea, another plea for help. And again, you want to find out a little more about that? Come back on Wild, Weird, and Wacky World of the Word that we do this coming Saturday. All right, time to keep mellowing out and I'm still waking up, waiting for my coffee to done brewing. That's why I don't have my mug with me right now, but it's going to be done real soon. God's blessings be with you and have an awesome Monday.